Yeah. Breathing and how it relates to like keeping your core tight. So I've got some really good tricks around doing that, which mean you can express your strength a bit better, which is good. Yeah. Cool. So, I mean, what do you currently do to obviously tense your abdomen, Jeff?
I just naturally tense it.
Yep. Okay. So, hey, what does that feel like to you?
I just feel it's just tightened.
Yeah. So if someone was to come past and punch you in the stomach, you wouldn't get winded?
Oh, probably would. How hard are you planning to punch?
No, I'm not gonna punch you, Jeff. Don't worry. No, that's funny. Cool. Yeah, because we'll go through it in a tick. I'm just gonna try and stream this. 1 sec. Any questions about your plan or anything like that, Jeff, at the moment?
No,
No,
it's going well. I think it's all okay.
Yep. Beautiful. Nice. And you obviously had the change of workouts recently with a new phase.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I want to know if Jessie has to do the reverse lunge.
It's pretty hard, isn't it? Very hard. Yeah. Just give me a sec. This VBP DKUL. Sorry, guys.
There we are. I'll put you on big screen.
On full screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Beautiful. David is jumping in. That's good.
You don't have your TV on in the background.
I don't. Yeah, I should get my lovely little screensaver on, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's a little bit different. Cool. Dave's jumped on. Hey, Dave. How you going?
Hey.
Hey. That's good. Cool, guys. Nice. So I can't actually stream this to Facebook for some reason. It's asking for different permissions, which we're not going to bother with tonight. So I'll record this and then I'll just upload it. Sweet. Jesse said going through a dead zone might drop out a little bit. Yeah, okay. A dead zone. That sounds cool.
That was me today when I was up at Hepburn.
Yeah, you're in the dead zone.
Oh, you do as you're going through the Wombat State Forest, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It just drops out. Okay.
Oh, we got David's. I love that view from David's apartment.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah.
So good.
Sunset night.
David, what suburb are you in?
South Bank.
Oh, so you're looking back into the city, across the water.
Yeah, so that's Eureka Tower there on the right-hand side.
Yeah.
That one there.
Yeah.
And the art centre's just down here behind the building.
Okay. Stunning. I love it. Jesse's back. Okay, good. And Jared, hello.
Why do we have two Jessies?
We've got two Jessies. I'm removing one.
Oh, no, we've got rid of one Jessie. We're now back to one Jessie.
Yeah, there we go. We've got one. It asked me if I wanted to report him as I was removing him from the Zoom. But there's nothing to report him for. So, how you going, Jared?
Yeah, thank yourself.
Yeah, good. Thanks, mate. Where are you walking to?
Sorry?
Where are you walking to?
About to walk into the house. So you want to say hello to my wife? There's my wife.
Yes, hello. Hello, wife. Hello, wife.
You're seeing inside my butt.
Costco today, they have huge jars of Nutella.
We saw the Nutella.
Ran away pretty quick.
No, she was going to hide. She was going to conceal and hide the jars of Nutella, so we didn't see. Yeah.
She knows about the Nutella, so.
Good. It's good. Open relationship where everyone knows about everything.
It's only Nutella. It's not like it's like, you know, three other women.
There's worse things Jared could be doing. Yeah.
Exactly right.
Definitely. Okay.
What's two jars of Nutella between friends, right?
Literally. Cool, guys. All right, so we'll get into it. We'll talk about core bracing. And so what I'm about to teach you tonight, I'll teach you a standard technique for core bracing, and then I'm going to teach you a really cool advanced technique, which you can use as like a get out of jail card for, this can be lifting crazy heavy items around the house, helping people move stuff. So I use these techniques when I, help friends out. or move things, or I'm in vulnerable positions and I need to not be vulnerable. So first of all, the way in which we create tension is through our diaphragm, which if you've ever seen it, it basically just wraps around like all of your ribs on the inside and attaches onto the front side of my spine. So because it attaches to my spine, it means if I don't have tension through there, my spine isn't stable, which means I have a more likely chance of injury. And it just means you're going to have like a weaker lift and you're not going to be doing that great with your core stability. It also attaches to our hip flexors, right? So if you're desk working, if you're tight through your hips and you have a sore lower back, your diaphragm will be really tight. And if your diaphragm's really tight, it means you can't breathe that well because it's constricted and the diaphragm inflates our ribs every time we breathe in, okay? It's a muscle that does that. So if the biggest muscle that moves our ribs out of the way so that our lungs can expand is tight, then we're going to have an issue with our breathing, which means, you know, those people that have anxiety, those people that have stress are the ones that always take shallow breaths. So it's like, and it's because their diaphragm is just so taut, right? And all kind of relates. Right. So the way in which we tense our abs is essentially, you can imagine someone's going to come past and punch you in the stomach is a good way to kind of do the standard version, right? So we tense as if we want to brace for that, right? Maybe we're playing with our siblings at Christmas and we're roughing each other up and we need to have tensed abs. Otherwise we get, we get the wind taken out of us. Okay. So there's that. You can sort of tense. If you guys were to tense your abs right now and punch, yeah, go on. Sorry.
My siblings are 67 years old. We don't tend to roll around on the floor anymore.
No, not anymore. Okay. Sorry to hear. Sorry to hear.
Can't get back up, George.
That's right. They can't get back up otherwise.
Literally, yeah. They're going to avoid too many falls. Otherwise, they'll end up with a fractured hip.
And just to clarify, I'm actually the baby of the family. I'm nowhere near 67.
No. Okay. All right. Interesting. That's good.
I was the love child.
The love child, the one at the end, out of passion, unplanned.
Oh, totally unplanned, I think.
Yeah.
I think my father was 45 when I was born.
Whoa.
I think totally unplanned is the word.
Right.
No 45-year-old would willingly have a child.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So we didn't have the snip then?
No, that was the old days, George, when women used to stay home and look after their men. Not like now.
Yes. It's much more equal now.
Yeah. No, it's gone the other way.
Yeah. That's funny.
Back to breathing.
No, that's cool. Yeah. So with tensing, so you can imagine obviously creating a core brace. If you guys were to tense your abdominal region now and try and just hit it if you can. Okay. And try and do it as if like a 10-ton like hippo is coming towards you, right? So there's varying levels of tenseness. There's a level of tenseness if I was going to just slap my stomach. And then there's a tenseness, if a hippo was coming towards me and it was going to headbutt me, right? So you can always go harder for sure. So a mistake I see a lot of people making is they don't tense it hard enough because there's varying levels and it takes focus to be able to tense it as hard as you can. Yeah, cool. So I want everyone to tense it as hard as they can for 10 seconds in 3, 2, 1, and tense. Go. Good. Keep going. And relax. Good.
I'm running out of breath.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Now there's another little trick. Now, what we're going to do, you're going to try and talk while you're tensing because you need to be able to do that and to be able to have control with both. Okay. So I don't care what you say, just as long as it's not profanities, and just try and tense it the whole time. Right. So 3, 2, 1. I'm trying really hard to tense my abs and talk at the same time.
No,
and you guys should, yes, I am. No, I actually am. I swear to God. Yeah. All right. Cool. So how'd you guys go with that? Was it a bit harder?
Okay. How is this different from when, for a brief period of time, when I had a bad back injury, I used to do Pilates, right? Mm-hmm. And you know how, and the description used is as you're laying on your back to sort of tense it, is that you're trying to suck your nuts up into yourself.
Yeah.
JD's laughing.
Yeah. Well, we need them to dangle. We can't have them sucking up into ourselves. Yeah. That's one way to do it. I think that's a shitty cue. I don't think that really works very well. I was just trying to do it then, and that felt like nothing.
He wasn't moving?
No, I wasn't moving. They're still there. They've dropped. They dropped when I was 14, and they're still there. I never got a deep voice though. That's always been high, unfortunately. Yeah. It's all right. It's all right. I can lift heavy weights. I'm a man, I promise. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Nice. Now, guys.
Where are we going there?
I don't know. This is what happens when you just let me keep talking. I say dumb stuff. But that's all right. Cool. So when would we? Yeah. Go on.
What's the purpose of the exercise?
So the purpose of the exercise. Yeah. Sorry. Go on.
So sorry, to control the stomach to enable it to I don't know, to react to what like why are we doing that?
Yeah, so we're doing that to make it autonomous, that when you're doing things where your mind is distracted, i.e. talking, you still have the connection with your abdomen to be able to tense it. And so this will just mean you'll do things a lot safer. You reduce your chance of like, you know, those people that they're like, oh, I went and picked up a sock and I blew my back out. You know those people, right? Yep. So this is all about safeguarding against that. And, you know, household chores, household things require core attention. And so gym stuff relates so much to being able to do this stuff in your life effectively and efficiently. Yeah. Yeah. Nice.
An exercise maybe in the car or something like that you can do, or?
Yeah. So I would be tensing and trying to talk and just hold your abs there. Because if you can send more focus to that area, what will happen is it's essentially like stirring up soil, I guess, in the sense that our fat represents the soil and the soil is like firm at the moment. So if I can disturb that area, connect with that area, then I can reduce them into smaller particles and then I can use them a bit easier, right? So that's one way of kind of looking at it. It's a little bit, tried to come up with an analogy there. I don't know if that made sense.
No, that's all right. I'm working, but I've got obviously a garden sitting in front of me. So I'm just going to get rid of it.
Yeah. That's it. Sweet. All right. So do you guys, well, I want to have one more go. No one was talking before when we were doing the 10-second talking and tensing. So we're going to do it again in 3, 2, 1. I'm tensing and I'm talking and I'm participating in this.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Good, David. Nice. Sweet.
It's unfair that JD's just only counting.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't know if Jesse's talking because he's on mute.
He's on mute.
He's cheating.
He is. It looks like something out of like, you know, the Blair Witch Project. How they got the camera just up at their face. Yeah. The crazy witch comes out. Yeah, that's funny. Cool. So with the core tension, I hope you guys are learning that like if you don't think about it enough when you're doing, you know, gym exercises and stuff, you can let it slip and then it's not activated and then your chance of injury goes up. And our core is like the basis of our potential to express strength. So if we're not switched on through there, then our chest movements will be weaker. Our leg movements will be weaker. So it's like where we generate all our force and all our power from. Yeah, essentially. All right, now you guys ready for the complicated way of supercharging core tension?
Go for it.
Cool. Awesome. So this technique that I'm going to teach you is a technique that you wouldn't use throughout an entire, say, set of squats because you'll pass out, you will. So it's more of like a get out of jail card that you can use for the last 2 reps on a set where you really feel weak and you really feel like you're not going to be able to do it, particularly with squats and like bench press and like a deadlift or something. And so it's called the Valsalva maneuver, right? Yeah, I don't expect you guys to get it on this time, but we're gonna have a practice. So if you look at me and I'm breathing, See how my chest is moving?
Yep.
Right. Now, you don't want to chest breathe because the muscles that move our chest, if we chest breathe, are the tiny little ones between our ribs, right? And they do a very poor job of inflating the rib cage. Now, I want you guys to put your hands on your stomach. And what you want to do is you want to try and breathe and move your hands. So see how I was moving my hands and I wasn't, see before when I was breathing through my chest, my shoulders were rising, my chest was moving. But when I was doing this one here, I was moving my hands and my chest was not moving that much. All right. So Jared's smirking about something. What's funny, Jared? Share it with us.
My wife, I put you on mute because my wife is just saying shit from the time she's walked into the bedroom to the time she's about to leave.
Yeah.
Said to me, does he know that you're sitting on the bed doing nothing right now as he's telling you what to do?
It's okay. Well, Jared, you have two hands. One for holding the phone and then one for slapping. No.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, one for doing the
Hey,
activity.
George, that's why we all have two hands.
Yeah. For two slaps, one and then the other one.
Right. I'm standing up now. So hand on
Okay, yeah,
stomach.
good. Yeah. So first of all, practice a chest breath. Everyone. Okay. So that's what we don't want to do, particularly when you're doing any cardio exercises or you're just breathing normally. And then there's the belly breath. So where we move our hands. So I'm trying to shoot my hand away from my body and then I'm trying to pull back in with my abdomen. Nice. How are you going, Jeff?
Good. That's an easy one for me.
Yep, you've done belly breathing before?
Yeah, it's as a kid, I was a chronic asthmatic, right? And so when you're away and you don't have your medication,
Yeah.
it's the type of breathing you do because it actually gets more air. It rather than just filling up the top part of your lungs, you actually end up filling up the whole thing.
Yes. Yes. And in a cardio workout, how important would it be to access all of your lungs?
Yeah, much easier, much better.
Yeah, for sure. Nice. David, how did you go with the breathing?
Yeah, that seems easy enough.
Yeah.
Plenty of movement there.
Love it. Jazz, how'd you go?
Yeah, pretty good. I'm right there with Jeff because as a kid I had asthma and I had to learn to, particularly on the football field, back then, I'm talking 25 years ago, you didn't have someone running buffer spray for you, so you had to learn to be able to control it and be able to get through it. So
that's good. Yeah. So like you saying that the breathing kind of like can calm down an asthmatic response?
Yeah. Well, because it calms it down because your body actually feels, and it is, I suppose, getting more oxygen into it.
Yeah, and then it stops gasping. Yeah, for sure. Nice, cool. Now,
and so it relaxes the muscles.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, and so how this would relate to doing like a good set, say with squats, is remember you only do it for the last 2 reps of a set. This exercise I'm going to show you. So essentially what I want to do is when I'm like under the bar, say I'm doing 1 rep or I'm doing, you guys saw the other day, I posted on Facebook when I did that 190 kilo squat, right? You would see before I did the squat, it looked like I stopped and I tensed and then I went down. And that's because I was locking everything in, right? So with this maneuver, we belly breathe in. I'll show you, belly breathe in. And then I put my tongue to the roof of my mouth, right? And then what I try to do, I'm going to talk you through it so I can't do it fully, but I keep my tongue to the roof of my mouth and then I try to exhale through my mouth, but my tongue is there, which closes my glottis, right? And so that seals all the pressure down there as opposed to letting it escape through my nasal passage and my mouth. So it looks something like this. So, and you saw that secondary bit where I went like that, kind of like I exaggerated that, but that was me trying to push air out of my mouth, but it's locked in because my tongue stays there. All right. So recapping, what order does it go in? What do we do? What's number one, Dave? Yeah.
It's the tensing or breathing in.
Yep. So we take as big a possible breath in. Yep. Nice.
Yeah.
And then
tongue to the roof of the mouth.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Do I do it hard or soft? Do you reckon?
Hard.
Hard. We always go hard. Always. Yeah. So hard. And then what do I do from there?
The breathe out.
Mm-hmm.
Or try to breathe out.
Try to breathe out. Cool. And will I be able to breathe out of my mouth if my tongue's there?
No.
Yeah. Because the windpipe is closed. Okay. That's what the tongue does. That's what that activates. Cool. Nice. And so does it make sense how the amount of pressure that you can increase in your abdomen directly relates to how tensed your abdomen is and how much better you can express your strength?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Good answers. Very good answers.
Word?
Yeah. So it's pretty hard to do though. It's pretty hard to like understand it. But I want you guys to kind of have a go. So put your hands on your stomach. Yep. And then so breathe in. And then you try and breathe out with the tongue at the roof of the mouth. And you should feel that secondary. What will happen is you'll breathe in and then you go to breathe out and it'll be like your stomach forces forward and you'll feel this contraction.
It does, it blocks it.
Yeah. It's really good. And then what you want to do with that tension, you want to try and crush your thighs. So I imagine that I'm trying to crush my thighs and push my abs down as hard as I can towards my pelvis. Good.
Not suck your nuts up.
No. We're trying to actually go down. Yeah. Trying to give ourselves a hernia. Yeah.
I'm guessing this wouldn't be good after a meal.
No. I probably wouldn't be training after a meal. Yeah. Unless I had a fast metabolism like you, Jesse, and it was just gone in 10 minutes. Yeah.
I don't know how that works.
Jesse eats over 4,000 calories, guys.
It doesn't surprise me. He'll be like my son. Zach has dinner and then we have second dinner.
Yeah, that's basically me.
Yeah.
Hey, Jesse, all I can say is when I was 18, I too could do the same thing. So it will come, my friend. It will come.
Yeah, where it slows down. Yeah.
Fat bastard doesn't just happen overnight. It happens over a long period of time.
I'll make the most of it, eh?
Yes.
Good man.
Yeah, do it. If you keep training though, Jesse, you'll be able to consume heaps of calories always. I do 3,500. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
100. Right, so that would go straight away to my left thigh.
Just the left.
It needs the other 35 to balance it up.
Yeah. Okay. That's funny. Do you guys want to know a funny story? Yeah, so just on that, when I was 19, I did a food eating challenge, which was this 3.5 kilo breakfast. I forget what it was called, but you had 63 minutes to eat it because the cafe was called 63 degrees. And I took 62 minutes to eat it. And then I didn't eat for 72 hours. I was that full. I know. I was dry reaching on the footpath out the front, like trying to hold it in because if you vomited, it didn't count. And then you didn't get your $45 voucher. Yeah. So bad. And I went to a nearby park after that and just sat on like a chair and I couldn't actually bend my torso because I just felt so full and like sick. Yeah. It was a lot. Don't do it.
George, the exercise that you showed on Facebook the other day, the squat.
Yes.
190 kilos. I always have this fear of doing that. And two things. Either I'm not going to be able to get back up. And I did notice that the weight bench that you were on, it had bars across. So therefore that must protect you that if you back up, it actually catches it, does it?
Yeah. So what you can do, it's called bailing out of your squat. So you've got to practice it. It's pretty intense thing to do. But basically, like if I get down, I couldn't come back up. I'd throw it off my back and I'd lean forward, and it would just catch it. Those like big strong safeties there. Yeah. So there's a way in which you can do it. Yeah.
And then the second one I've got is sorry for the disgusting topic, but hemorrhoids and all the shit that comes with that, with the amount of pressure that you must be exerting through your bowel. How do you prevent? Is there anything that you do exercise-wise to prevent that from happening?
Yeah, just being more, just being better with your core strength. So like practicing what we were talking about before. So having a strong core, and then hernias can also relate to like your gut health as well. So like if you're someone who doesn't have that good of gut health, there can be disruptions within the abdominal wall because everything's not working as it should down there. Having said that, like if you do get a hernia, it does take something that can be a long time to kind of recover from, but you are more at risk the unhealthier lifestyle kind of you lead. But if everything's okay and you eat well and you train well, you shouldn't really get one, but you can be unlucky. They can have that disruption in the abdominal wall if you're not too healthy down there. But that is like a fear that some people kind of do have. But I've built up to that point, you know what I mean? So like I've strengthened the abs and the abdominal wall to get to that point. So it's like it's used to that kind of. I don't know. Yeah.
It makes sense. As I'm watching you, I'm thinking this guy's going to let one rip. I can see it now. I turned up the volume and everything, thinking he's going to let one rip. There's no way in the world he is going to be able to not fast. That is just ridiculous. 190 kilos. There's no way in the world you can do that.
Yeah.
So,
no, I do. Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah. No, I do fart when I lift sometimes. When I like fully tense as hard as I can, I do fart for sure.
And I imagine I haven't been to a gym for a very long time, right? But I imagine that's what would take place, is that because of that that pressure in the gut and what you're trying to achieve, there's no way of controlling to a degree the outcome of it. So
no, there's not. And if you do need to go to the toilet, it will be worse, obviously. So you just got to make sure everything's clear, everything's good, and then go lift, because there's nothing worse when you drop your guts.
Squats on the day if you got diarrhea.
Yeah, no, don't do that. No, it's nothing worse when you do fart and then there's like a good looking girl that walks past, and then it's obvious that you farted. Yeah. Yeah.
Just gonna blame the person over.
Just blame it on her.
Right,
like,
anyway,
did you fart? Yeah.
Sorry, bring the topic down. Yeah.
No, that's okay. I don't think I'll be posting this one on Facebook. I mean, I've recorded it, but I don't know if I'll put it on there. Yeah. Cool. So I reckon practice that Valsalva maneuver. Remember, you use it for the last like 2 reps as a get out of jail card if you're doing a higher rep set, or you can use it for like a 1 rep, like kind of what I did the other day, and that helps. Yeah. Or lifting.
So you can do it when you're doing seated. So like if I'm doing seated, shoulder press.
Yeah. Yes.
As well as things like squats and chest and stuff.
Yeah, seated press, it's really, really good for. Really, really good for. Think about like this center as your like the pillars to a skyscraper, and your seated press, the press is the skyscraper, and then you've got the things that go into the ground, pillars or whatever they are.
Yeah.
So think about it like that. What are they called?
Pylons.
Pylons, yeah. See, I don't know. Yeah.
What did you call them? Antlers.
Pillars, I think. I don't
know. Antlers. I'm thinking,
antlers.
Hey, quick question for you. I noticed on one of the vids, because occasionally when I'm at the gym, and we're going between sets, I'll have a look to see what the next exercise is if I need to remember what it is. When you're doing your bench press, you have your feet on the ground. I have my feet up on the seat.
Yeah.
Matter? Not matter?
Yes.
Because you were actually making a bit of an issue, and I couldn't actually, because I can't really turn up the volume because then everybody in the gym's looking at me. But you were actually pointing out that you wanted your feet on the ground because your legs were bent, and actually, if I got my phone over, I could tell you what particular exercise it was. But yeah, I'm pretty sure we were doing, it was either incline barbell or it was just straight barbell bench press. I think it was straight barbell bench press.
Yeah. So the feet on the ground provides a counter force. So when you're pressing, you've got all this weight, all this inertia coming towards you. And if you don't have your feet firmly planted into the ground, pushing into the ground, then you're unstable, which means you'll be unstable in your back, which means you won't express your strength as well as what you can. So so you've got to provide that counter force as the force is coming down towards you. Yeah. It'll just mean less movement in your shoulders, less chance of injury. You know, you'll be stronger. You can push into the ground and actually kind of like pivot and move the bar a bit more. Yeah, and it helps you tuck your shoulders down as well, which again is that stable kind of position. Yeah, but what you're doing is very, like, you're making the bench harder for yourself, essentially. Yeah.
So it could be easier.
Well, yeah, easier, safer, better. Yeah, all of those things.
Okay.
For sure. Nice. What other questions did you guys kind of have about what we've covered tonight?
I just, maybe not what we covered tonight, but I noticed tonight's session for 6 o'clock, I got a ding tonight to remind me. So did you do something with your app?
I sent a message. I sent a message in the message box app. Is that what you're talking about?
That was earlier
It
today.
must, well, I was driving and I actually got a
ding.
no, mine was on the way home at, I'm going to say it was right on 5 o'clock. So it would have been an hour outside of the meeting request that I got the audio sound to say that there was a meeting. So I thought, well, maybe it's got something to do with the new app that you've just launched. It's reminding me, or
I think that might have been a Facebook reminder, man. I think Facebook reminds you an hour before, because I've set up events within the app, or that could have been the fact that I changed the app. I'm not sure. Take a print screen next time, and then I can know what's happening.
Here's a good question. You know how when we were talking about chocolate during the week, and you said rather than eating my chocolate because I've had a fight with my kids, which is normally what happens, and then going out and doing extra cardio, first and eat the chocolate. But here's the problem, George. I don't actually feel hungry after I've been to the gym or done the cardio. In fact, the lag time would be hour, maybe 2 hours sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's going to defeat the purpose having the chocolate after.
You're yeah, it does, because you're not craving it, right? So
you're not craving it, and you've already, presumably the body has already returned back to normal state.
Okay, so like, what's that taught you?
Have the chocolate before.
Well, yeah, you can, yeah. But yeah, as well, like gym or like going and doing something healthy, you just can't, you don't forget about it, but like you just change what's happening internally that's making you want the chocolate. And it's also a good way of distracting yourself. Yeah. But I don't like to think about avoiding things too much, because I like to think more about bringing good things in. Do you know what I mean?
And that's probably been the biggest change. When we changed it, I now go to the gym at lunchtime. So I'll have a small snack before we go, because as you know, it takes me 20 minutes to walk to the gym for me.
Yes.
And then largely we get rid of that real heavy desire at 4:30 in the afternoon to shovel down something, because that's normally when I'm now having lunch.
Amazing. So you've replaced a sweet, sugary treat with a meal that is nutritious after a workout.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah. Very good for your recovery as well. A post gym meal. That's like, that just goes straight to building muscle. Yeah. That's good. I like that, Jeff. That's good. Well, you should keep up that habit then, because I feel like that's a big one for you, the afternoon munchies.
Yeah, and you can tell the difference. Like today I didn't do gym because I was, up and back to Hepburn, up to the farm. So I'm making sure it's all ready for the guests for this weekend.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
No, it's not good, because I then got hungry at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so Jared and David, what could Jeff do when he's not able to do his lunchtime workouts that would help him, possibly not get his cravings?
I don't like Nutella.
Jared wasn't going to suggest that.
just go into a meeting and listen to someone dribble shit for like an hour and a half, and I mean you'll focus on them as being an idiot, and you'll forget that you need to eat.
Oh dear, I got that tomorrow night.
Solid advice.
No, I think I mean, as I've said before and on various occasions, that I find that if I don't stick to it, then I'm the same Jeff, that my inner self just has this massive craving, and I just then want something that's going to give me that instant fix, and more often than not, it's a sugar rush.
Yeah.
I have found, I don't know why all of a sudden, but I have found that I need to have now a coffee at around about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, which I've never ever done before. I've only ever had coffee in the morning. The last few weeks, I have had this immense craving to have a coffee in the afternoon, and I don't know why. So trying to figure that out myself at the moment.
Go for the coffee and green grapes.
Yeah.
Coffee and green grapes, as in you have green grapes instead of coffee?
No, with green grapes.
No.
So have coffee and green grapes.
Yeah, I was trying to have a look. I'll actually tell you, because I've already eaten green grapes. I think the fructose level in green grapes is actually a lot higher.
Right.
Which actually takes away the sugar, the chocolate desire totally.
Yeah.
Well,
You know
so
those big fat ones?
yeah, well, my attempt of chocolate these days is, you know, the Cadbury Roses chocolates. I might have two or three of them, and that's it. So I've gone from a kilo of Nutella to 2 or 3 Cadbury chocolates, and even that is not every day. That I'm going to say it's every 4 or 5 days in between that I have that craving. So if I know that if I need to have something, I just go to the pantry and I'll pull out 2 or 3 of those Cadbury chocolates, and it seems to be enough.
And it hasn't hurt your results at all, Joe?
No, that definitely not.
Definitely not. So what have you learned about bringing that stuff, or just having that stuff in moderation?
Well, a friend of mine actually asked me this morning. So I was on a teleconference this morning with a guy in the US. He said something very similar, and he said, "What's your pantry look like?" And I went and showed him my pantry, and my top shelf of my pantry.
Yeah.
Top shelf, because it's getting there and eat the shit. But there is that much junk up there that I look at it now, and 8 weeks or 9 weeks into this program, I sit there and I think that needs to change, because if I don't change that, then my kids are going to pick up that habit as a norm. And then they then see that as a norm for the rest of their lives, and then it just repeats itself over and over and over again.
Yeah.
I don't think we've touched on it, George, but genes have a major part to play in what we do. And I mean, I'm of German descent, and I'm not saying that German people are fat, but they are, let's say, happy. And being that happy German person that they are, I assume that genes right along and will continue on being a factor in what we do and why we want to eat what we want to eat. It's almost like our genetic makeup that's just telling us to do that. And I guess that's the part that I'm looking for, is how do I break that cycle?
Sure. I mean, it just starts with just getting rid of all of the stuff that's in the cupboard. Yeah, because if it's there, it'll get eaten by someone.
I think you can do it. I mean, we're now up to week 10, JD, and for 10 weeks now, I have not had a single soft drink, alcoholic drink, or fast food item.
Well done.
And there's actually no desire to. But the trade-off is, while the confectionery consumption has dropped, as George and I have played around and looked at eating and what other alternatives there are, it's still high. I mean, and the only thing that stops me is this, right? I had a packet of Smarties this afternoon, 45 grams, 237 calories. That's 10%, more than 10% of my daily food intake, right? But even worse than that, what was scarier was the 12.6 grams of fat that was in that 45-gram box.
Calorie dense. That's like 2 tablespoons.
It's just like total fat. Now, not all chocolate is the same. And as I've been going through it, I've actually been finding that there is, so 45 grams of chocolate is not the same across the board. It's all very dependent on what type you actually pick. So whether it be straight Cadbury bar or a Kit Kat bar or an Aero bar or something like that, they all actually have totally different outcomes. And it's really interesting to look to see which one it is.
I was telling Brooke.
Sorry?
I was telling Brooke, Jeff, about your story about the Easter chocolate versus standard chocolate.
Oh, yeah.
She has always said forever and a day. I mean, she will go Easter hunting after Easter to get all the Easter chocolate left because she thought it was different and it tasted different. And I used to say to bullshit, it's just normal chocolate.
It is far worse for you.
Yeah.
One chocolate bunny is like a whole day's supply of food.
Sounds worth it to me.
Yeah.
I'm with Dave.
So while I'm not obsessive about calories, right? Because I don't think you can be. I mean, you can't be obsessive. If you're obsessive about calories, I don't know that it would actually do too much, because you could spend the entire day, reach your calorie total, but I've eaten crap the whole day, right?
Yeah.
But what I have become obsessive about is looking at what I'm putting in my mouth. And I think I said to George this week, and making a conscious decision about it.
Yeah.
You know, do you really want to do that? Or is there some other alternative? Or the idea of, we don't typically have ice cream or anything in the house because if somebody wants it, I'll normally have to go out at 8:30 at night. And it's a case of, do I really feel like getting up and having to drive or walk around to the shop to get something?
Environmental design. Yeah, that's what we went through a couple of weeks ago. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, as well, like the calories game, guys, like your metabolism will also respond to the demands you place on it. So if you're strength training or you're doing exercise, you can actually build up your metabolism. There isn't like a set amount of calories that you need to be at to always lose weight, because there's different variables. So what happens is, like when I train a lot of girls, right? So a lot of girls usually only eat like 1,400 calories or 1,500 calories because they're trying to be skinny, right?
Fuck, that's a meal.
Yeah, I know, right? But what they're doing is they're making themselves like skinny fat because their body will be eating its muscle. And so what I do with a lot of girls is I start getting them to eat more and more and more and more, and they get leaner and their body shape changes, right? And so it's the same with like guys. You can actually build up your metabolism if you're eating nutrient dense foods and foods that aren't processed. You can actually build that up. But if you eat processed foods, you won't be able to build that metabolism up. So it can be manipulated with increasing calories. Yeah.
And did you know that MyFitnessPal has a really again, I always seem to find these really interesting things about your apps, George.
Thank you.
MyFitnessPal sent me a note the other day and actually said, you have not eaten enough food today.
Yeah, right. That's interesting. I didn't know.
I had one of those rare days where I'd just gone from meeting to meeting, and literally I had only consumed 890 calories of food. Right? Which 890 calories, to put it in perspective, was literally about 7 coffees. And I think I had a sandwich somewhere, a chicken sandwich. And it brings up this note and says, no way, you cannot live off 890 calories.
Good. I like that. I really like that. That's sick. I didn't know it did that.
It does. Well, because it does the calculation, right? So the calculation that it brings up for me is that somewhere around about that, 1,800 mark is what the body will normally burn in a day just living.
Yes, but that can be manipulated. That can be manipulated.
It can be manipulated. And I tell you what, the other thing that I found is it doesn't work if you don't properly update your weight, because it makes calculations based on how much it thinks you actually weigh.
Yeah.
And so what I found was I had not updated the weight since the first weight. And when you suddenly drop it 6 or 7 kilos, you get a very different response coming through.
You do.
Because obviously it requires less effort to carry around.
George, what's the
kilos less?
It does. Yo, what's up?
What's the link with chili? Does chili boost the metabolism? Does it, like, what is it doing? What?
Yeah, so I mean, chili can obviously create heat, and heat obviously uses more energy. So, like when you're exercising, your body heats up, you get sweaty, right? You're burning energy, right? So the theory with chili is that it heats up your body, and then because your body's heating up, it's burning more calories. So I mean, that's the theory. My dad used to tell me that as well growing up, like have some chili, it'll boost your metabolism for 24 hours or whatever. I think there would be some truth to it if you are consuming it regularly, but I don't feel like I get that hot when I have chili. So I think it's a different heat. I think something's been lost there. I don't know. But
it was like this discussion we had last week around thermogenics.
Yeah.
Which was JD on the phone? I don't think JD was on the call last week.
I was, but it kept on cutting in and out. Remember, just
Yeah.
So apparently
I'll go back.
Yeah, well, apparently the guy at the Sunday markets in Daylesford reckons that turmeric also does the same.
For sure.
But he's got a vested interest selling his jars of turmeric to people.
He does. Yeah, always be careful with that stuff. Like, remember the pillars, the things that actually change you, your diet, training, that sort of thing. Like, they will create the biggest difference. You can manipulate it 1 to 5% using different measures, but always keep your focus on the pillars if you can. Yeah.
Okay, guys, I gotta go. I gotta cook dinner for the kids.
Same here. I'll see you guys later. Thank you for jumping on, David.
No worries.
I don't have kids. No, yeah. I will one day. All right, catch up. Bye.